Do you suffer from anxiety for the future?
Oh, very much so, doctor. Yes, I do.
Do you lie awake at night due to climate crisis?
Oh, the climate crisis. CO2 is killing us all. It's a dangerous poison. Oh, that calms me down.
Has the Trump election made you sleepless and frightened?
Trump! Did you say Trump? Trump is Satan. Trump is a Nazi. I mean, of course I lie awake. It's horrible.
Are you frustrated over stupid people that doesn't believe in the green shift?
People who don't believe in the green shift are so stupid. And I'm warm and inclusive, but I hate people like that. I don't want to talk to them even.
Don't you understand the direction the society is taking?
I don't understand. How could they elect? We are good. We're nice people. We are inclusive. We are warm. And they elect. Why don't they do like I say? They always done like I say. I want to decide, and now they don't let me. They mean something else than me. It's hard, doctor. It's hard.
Do you feel that people are laughing at you when you're warning them against racism and fear of strangers and Islamophobia?
Yes, they do. Before they always did what I said. If I said you have to mean this, you have to mean this, you have to be a good person, you have to be like me. But now I think they're laughing. I think I'm gonna dye my hair blue. Do you think that'll help?
Are you losing faith in your friends that who voted for Trump?
They voted for Trump. They voted for Trump. How could they vote for Trump? I don't understand, because I'm always right, you know. I'm right. I got the truth. I'm right. I am absolutely right. I have the truth, the absolute truth. There can be nothing wrong with what I say.
I'm sorry. I think it's time for some therapy.
Yes, I think it's time for some therapy. Because, you know, and welcome to Kent's Counterpoint. I'm the Norwegian author Kent Anderson, and this is my blog, my video blog. And let's have a little therapy hour now after, you know, a little therapy session because, you know, Trump won the election and everyone's just, what? How could that happen? And now, let me sit here and look a bit therapist-y. Do I look therapist-y now? Yes. You know, there's one thing about being absolutely right and being morally high ground and being the best and the warmest and the most inclusive person in the world, and everyone that is not like you is, you know, a racist, a terrible person, and a misogynist, and a Nazi, and all that. It's one thing. There's one problem about standing on that high ground. You know what that is? You may be wrong, okay? You're an extremist, okay? And you're wrong. That's what's gone wrong. It's not everyone else around you, okay? It's not everyone else. It's you. It's you, okay? That's the therapy hour. This is what we're going to talk about. You have to sit down and put your hand behind your knees and ask yourself, how could people vote for Trump? Well, it's because of you. Because of your behavior, your opinions, and the way you act to other people. Being righteous, self-righteous, extremist, being woke, being a person who actually hates other people that don't have the same opinions as you. They are not the problem for the democracy. You are. You're the problem. You see? But Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the leaders of the EU and everyone, they're not able to understand this problem. They cannot fathom the possibility that they're wrong. It's not that it's not only that they think they're right, you know. These woke people and these activists that are wandering around the blue here and screaming at people who disagree with them, it's not that they think they're right. Their problem is they can't even imagine the possibility that they're wrong. That's the problem. And that's why they need therapy. Now, they say that, you know, electing Trump and, you know, is extremist, it's far right, it's extremist, it's far right, it's Nazi, and if you believe that Donald Trump is as far to the right that you can get, you have to open a history book, because then you don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay? This is not far right at all. You can get way further right, way further over, where you actually mean that Jews should be exterminated, where you actually mean that Israel should be exterminated, where you actually mean that everyone that doesn't mean the same as you should be exterminated, and far right is actually when you build up a big state, a big state, and all the individuals had to bow to the state. Now, Trump doesn't mean that. He doesn't. He means the opposite. He wants to build the state down, the elite down. He wants to, and so does IDF and Alternative for Deutschland in Germany, and so does all these other new right-wing parties that are showing up everywhere in Europe and all the other places, because the pendulum is swinging back. You know, it's gone too far. Woke has gone too far. You know, it's been taken over by extremists and activists and people who have absolutely no regard for other people's opinions, and they want to be right. They want to be. It's like, you know, they're small dictators. They're everywhere in companies and in society, and they say, if you mean anything else than me, you're going to get cancelled. You're going to lose your job. And they are not democratic. They are the problem. They are the problem. And it's not that they think they're right. It's that they can't even imagine that they're wrong. And this is a disease. This is a brain disease, right? This is when you've gone mad, because adult people, any adult people over 18, can't be like a 5-year-old that stamps the ground and says, I am right and everyone else is wrong. Then you're a 5-year-old, and then you need therapy, right? So the election of Trump, I don't personally like Trump very much. I think he's not elegant. He's not worthy. He's not elegant like Ronald Reagan was. He's not even funny like Ronald Reagan was. But I mean, his policy is good, because when someone has taken the society to the extreme, then the pendulum has to swing back, and the people, the democracy has to take the power back from the elite, from the swamp, as they call it. This is not ruining democracy, you know. That's not ruining democracy. Having an election is not ruining democracy. That most people, that the overweight of the people actually says, well, yeah, we're going to elect Trump. That's not ruining democracy. That is democracy, right? On the other hand, trying to put the opponent in jail before the election, now that's a banana republic. That is extreme. That is. You know, we sat here in Europe and sort of like, you know, they want to jail Donald Trump before the election. Doesn't that sound a bit weird or extreme? So, and maybe he's dangerous, maybe he's extreme, I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that most of the voters want him and his policy, and they're going to get it, because that is what democracy is bad. And now all the other people that is screaming and shouting and crying and, you know, get a grip, okay? Don't panic. Because I think this actually has 10 positive effects. 10 positive effects. Not only that they actually have to maybe stop dyeing their hair blue and screaming at other people, barking, screaming, yelling, and telling everyone that there's a racist. Because if you walk around to other people you don't know personally and call them a racist, that makes you a terrible person. A terrible person. That makes you a horrible person. You know, you can't do that. You know. It's like going around to anyone and just tell them this, you know, you're a pedophile. It's just as bad, you know. You don't behave like that. That's not protecting that is not protecting the democracy. Okay, that is not protecting the democracy. That is a problem for the democracy. But electing Trump actually has 10 good effects. Right? I think. Think of this positively, okay? If you haven't seen Kent's Counterpoint before, follow us on YouTube and see my movies, because I'm trying to be sort of moderate here, standing in the middle of the people shouting at each other, and sort of, can we please come together and have a beer and agree to disagree, you know, like we did in the 70s and 80s and 90s, instead of shouting at each other. That would be nice. That would be democracy. But let's see. Douglas Adams, don't panic. He's the best philosopher I know about. Well, the election of Trump shows one thing. First, democracy works. Okay, thank God. Most people want this. They don't want A, they want B. And most people say they won't. And they elected it, and they get B. That's democracy. Working. Good. That's good. The moralists, they lose power. Moralists, you know, all the people who say, you have to mean what I say, you have to be better, you have to be like me. And to moralists, you have to switch the finger. Instead of that finger, you give them that finger. That's the answer. Because moralists, they never know when to stop, you know. It's like, you know, it's like priests and people on the high ground and the people in PTA who says that, you know, you have to do this and that and the other and to be a good person. And you know, who are they to say? Who elected them? God. They can't, you know, they can't decide that. Who are they? And they have to be put in place. They do, because they never stop. Whatever you do, if you've got a moralist in your friend, among your friends or in your workplace or anywhere else, and one of the moralists actually, you will notice one thing, it's never good enough. You can do everything they say and you can follow every direction they say and every command they give, but it's still not enough. You're still the bad person and you still have to be better because they say so. So you can't please them and they never know when to stop. So you can actually just kick them in the butt and say, shut up, because I'm not listening to you anymore. And that's a good thing. I think Trump will do that. And the working class, this is Norwegian, you won't understand it. The working class, they've been heard, okay? And this is a good thing, you know? People who are poor, those who elected Trump are not the elitists living in the cities and driving an electric car and, you know, earning a lot of money. They didn't elect Trump. It was the working class that did that. And this is a good thing. Let them be heard, because working people makes the world go round, make the society go round. They're the important people. The working class is the important people in any society, not the elite. And yeah, domestic policy is back in business, you know, because the globalists, they don't care about domestic policy. They don't care about their own country. They want to save the world. They make the world a better place. You know, you can always recognize a globalist, because if you ask a globalist, either he's 16 years old or 160 years old, what do you want to do? And I want to make the world a better place. Well, that's ambitious. Can't you pet a cat or have a child or be nice to your grandma. Isn't that enough? I mean, should you start sort of like there and should build it up from there? Because the world is a pretty big place, you know. And the way to make the world a better place is actually one good deed at a time. Yeah. Not sitting and writing big essays and working for UN or no. It's one good deed at a time. That's how to change the world. And yeah. So the globalism, I think it's dead. I think Trump will kill globalism and say that, you know, we have to get back to national states where the politicians work for their own people, their own interests, and work for their country and the businesses in their country and do the best they can for them. Because China does that already. They've done that for 30 years. You know, that's why they actually stolen all the money and all the businesses and all the trade. Because China is ruled by domestic and not globalism. See? Right? And if not everyone is globalism, then, you know, just the ones who are led by globalism will lose. Right? So, yeah. Maybe it's good we could get back to that. Let's try that. It's worked before, like 5,000 years, so let's try that. The Paris Agreement from 2015, it's dead. I know Trump is gonna. In 2017, he actually said, well, that was one of the first things he said, oh, cancel the whole thing. It's expensive, it doesn't work. Okay, it's expensive. Is there a climate crisis? Who cares? It's not important. You can discuss whether it's a climate crisis, whether it's our fault. You can discuss it, and it has been discussed. And you can put out tons of paper and science that shows you, yes, it is global warming, it is dangerous, it is us that causes it. The problem is that that doesn't mean that the proposed solutions actually will work. And that's that's another compartment, you see, right? That's the important discussion. That's the important issue. We know Titanic is sinking. Yes, we hit a mountain, it's sinking, it's going down, it's absolutely certain. We have the science, yes. And to solve it, we have to play a violin and swing a black cat over our head for 5 times. Will that work? No. You know, that's the important discussion. And the climate agreement is based on solution that does not work. Not financially, not economically, not scientifically, not in practice, no, and not economically. So if the solution doesn't work, why do we continue trying them out? It's never worked. Never, not in small scale. It's never worked, okay? They have there is absolutely no science behind the climate measures, nothing. And for good measure, I've written a book about this. The climate hysteria. It's a Norwegian, this climate anticlimax. This book will now be translated into English, so you can read it. It's a book about human mass hysteria. It's very interesting and human psychology. So it will be named Climate Counterpoint. Yeah, from me. So that book is coming on Amazon sooner or later. Woke is sent, it's expelled from school because, there was a lot of, it's gone too far. Like the extremists and the moralists, they just don't know when to stop, They have goals, and when this train is coming into the station and everyone, this is our goal. We're going to do this with society, It doesn't stop, that train, it just continues. And they never stop, because they never know when to stop. That's the problem with activists and extremists and fanatics. Whatever they achieve, they will get. And then they'll just invent something more they want. So you have to stop them somehow. And, BLM and the woke has gone too far. It's been too crazy, and controlled by extremists. And of course, someone has to say, put the foot down and say, this is enough. And that's a good thing. NATO will be strengthened by Trump. Yeah, it's a lot of fear here in Europe and here in Norway that Trump will take USA out of NATO? I don't think so. I don't think it will, because that's would be a very weird thing to do, and he's a weird man, but you never know. But what he actually said is that he wants actually Europe to mind its own borders and build up their own military and be willing to sacrifice their own soldiers, because USA has done that. It's been the world police now for like 30, 40, 50 years, and it's enough. You lost enough. The United States has lost enough people and soldiers and money trying to cope and trying to solve other countries' problems and trying to make democracy work in countries that are not democratic. I mean, why? It's not the United States' problem, you know. If the Ukrainian war is very concerning, because Norway, of course, we are bordered to Russia, and of course it's a problem, but it's not the United States' problem, is it? Right? Because they don't have borders with, well, you have up in, yeah. But I think Trump is going to strengthen NATO, because he will force NATO, the rest of the NATO countries, to actually shapen up and make it stronger and better. I think so. China will be put in place. That's on time. China is the world's first mafia state, if you ask me. It's actually using an financial and economic system that is actually tested out before with great success in Chicago in 1930. And that worked very well. It worked perfectly. It was very good. It was booming business, as long as you didn't protest. Then you disappeared. So China is the world's first mafia state, and it's on time that democracies actually gather together and say this, but not any further. This is enough. And usually you can choose between a small conflict early, or you can wait and postpone, or you can get a very big war later, and it's better to take a small skirmish early, if you ask me. And then you need a strong man with the helm, and say that, and not a shivering old geezer like Joe Biden. So yeah, that everyone said he was sharp. Everyone said that. You know, the press in Europe said that he was sharp. He was the best president ever. No, he wasn't. He was an old geezer. Yeah, no. So Trump is too old for me. I think I'm not a fan of Trump, but I think his policies, and I think this is very, very good for the Republican Party, because Trump can't take it other. He can't say what Biden said. Now I'm going to do it even one more. He has to. After 4 years now, he will have to give the power to someone else, and that's a good thing. I think that will be great. And 10, capitalism will be strengthened. You know, United States had a very big problem after 2008 in the financial crisis, because it was actually made not by capitalism. It was anti-capitalism. It was casino. Okay, it was gambling that made the financial crisis. Capitalism is not a political system. It is not opposed to the communism, right? Capitalism is what happens when free people trade with each other with their own money at their own risk. That is capitalism. It's trade. Capitalism and trade is the same word, right? That is the same word. Remember that, because 2008, that ruined the whole economy for Europe and for Iceland and for the United States and all around the world, when these crooks and their banks and took all the money from people. That was not capitalism. It wasn't. It was gambling, and it was a fraud. So I hope that this will bring capitalism back, because we see tendency, especially with climate and Joe Biden's Joe Biden's nei, vent litt. Reduction Act. Nei. Inflation Reduction. Joe Biden's Yeah, and Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. You know, the Inflation Reduction Act is not capitalism. You know, that is actually planned economy. That is green economy. When the state pushes money into financial sectors and into to stock market and says that we're going to have this industry and not this. This is planned economy. This is communism, and that is not going to work. Okay, it's disaster, and Trump will stop it. So capitalism, pure capitalism, regulated capitalism, like when you play Monopoly with rules, that will be back, I hope. Because if you play Monopoly with rules, that's fun. If you play Monopoly, a lot of people, and one in the family plays Monopoly without rules, he's going to win. And you can't have Monopoly without rules because that's no fun. That's fraud. So I hope that will be. Well, so there's positive things about this, and I think actually now, I hope the lefties and the extremists who control the left side of the politics now will, and especially also the Democratic Party in the United States, I hope they will wake up and say, okay, maybe it was us, maybe it was me, maybe I was the one to blame, maybe I'm wrong, instead of blaming everyone else. And that's good therapy, isn't it? Well, that's enough for today. I'm Kent Anderson, a Norwegian author, and please follow me on YouTube, subscribe, and I'll see you later. We'll make more movies. Yeah, fun. Being balanced, you know, chill out.